In this video, I am going to share with you how I organize my whole life, including my content creation tasks within ClickUp. My name is Inwills, and welcome to the In Crowd. Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. I have to say that I've not got my main light on today, so that normally puts a bit of diffused light on in the background, saving on these electrical costs. So if you don't know who I am, then hi, my name's Inwills and I am a small content creator and streamer based in the United Kingdom who produces content on productivity and organization in order to support my fellow small content creators. So if you find this video or any of the videos on my channel supportive, then please consider liking, commenting and subscribing. It really helps my channel grow and promotes the reach of my content to other people who I might be able to support with their own productivity. Okay, so you might have watched my previous video when I talked about how I moved to ClickUp, going from using 3 programs to 1, and you might have migrated your content over into ClickUp and been thinking, so what do I do now? So that's what I'm going to cover. I'm going to talk you through my workflow, what I did, in a hope that you can take some inspiration or it can help you. I'm going to be focusing mainly on my content creation side of things, but if you hang around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how I organize my personal life. So starting off, one of the aspects of ClickUp that took me a while to get my head round was the hierarchy of how ClickUp is organized. Now, in the past, I've been using things like Asana and OmniFocus, and within them we tended to create projects, and then within projects we had tasks. Now, ClickUp uses a slightly different hierarchy, but I have to say, now that I'm in the mindset of using it, I actually prefer it than creating projects, etc. So ClickUp has the following hierarchy. It has spaces, folders, and lists, and then within the lists you then have statuses. Now you can probably check out all the official documents and videos about what these different areas are, but I'm going to say how I thought about these as I thought about how I wanted to organize my tasks. So spaces I imagine as different areas of my life or different aspects of my life. I try to keep these very broad. Now on the free plan for ClickUp, the one that I use, then you can have up to 5 spaces. So it's worth having a little bit of thinking time and jotting some ideas down before you start to create these spaces. I looked at these very broadly, and what I created were the following spaces. So I have my home space, which is all my personal stuff. Content creation, this is by far the biggest space and covers all my streaming, my YouTube video creation, my Instagram stuff, and my blogging. Then I have an area called games. Now this is the space that I use for all the content that I create for role-playing games, which is part of my productivity or content creation job. But also I have anything to do with streaming in there as well. And then the final one I have is work, and that is dedicated to my part-time job as a lecturer at university. Now at this point I want to share with you something ultra important, so listen up. You can change everything from your initial setup. Okay, so it's not sort of like you do it the first time and then that's it. So since I started to use ClickUp, I've changed my spaces, I've changed my folders, and I've changed my lists several times. And this is one of the aspects of the software that I really like, that as you change or how you manage your tasks change, then ClickUp can reflect this and you don't need to change the whole structure or start again. So once you have your spaces created, then within spaces you can add folders and lists, and within each folder you can add lists as well. So this allows you to group your tasks together and create folders for areas of, say, your content creation or your work, etc. And then if you sort of like use these folders as general areas, then you could put lists inside this, and also each list has statuses that I'll talk about later on in the video. So before we look at the content creation folder, I just wanted to point out that I actually create a list in every folder that just says inbox. And this is a place that I can just brain dump tasks that need to be allocated to different areas. So I'm going to do a video later on about how I capture information and what I do with that once it's been captured. So check out that later on. So as an example of how I organize things, let's look at my content creator space. So you can see within this space that initially I created folders like this Instagram one, and I created my folders according to platform. So I had the one that you can see about Instagram, then I had another one called YouTube, another one called podcast, etc., etc. However, since doing that initially, I've changed it, and I've now created folders according to the themes that I create content for. So you can see that things can move around. Notice also you can add little emojis to the folder titles to make it a little bit more eye-catching, or to remind you. And you could do this for list names as well. So the schedule folder is anything that happens on a monthly basis, or things I need to check up every week, etc. So things that go into this, for example, I have my Discord channel, and there'll be tasks that go into the Discord list within this folder about things I have to do on a regular basis. Other things like update my PS4 will be in there as well. Okay, so the Instagram folder, and this is probably going to change, so bear with. In my Instagram folder, I actually had lists according to the different content that you can post, i.e. Stories, Instagram Reels, quotes, or posts that go on the main field, etc. Now, the RPG folder is where all my role-playing game content that I produce lives. So I actually produce quite a lot of this. So you can see Mithras Matters there. That's a podcast that the Design Mechanism sponsors me to produce. And you can see Gibbering GM, which is a series of YouTube videos that I create, all to do with game mastering. So you probably don't understand some of those unless you're a role player, but hopefully you can see how I've gone through and separated it out. Okay, now the other thing that is really important to mention at this point while we're looking at this RPG content folder, if you click on a space or a folder on the right hand side, you are able to see all the tasks that are within that folder. So you can see all the tasks that are happening. Now, in this area, you can then actually group them according to lists. And that you can see that up at the top right hand that I've got that selected. And this gives the colored version that you can see in front of you. Now, before you suddenly scrub ahead to see what else I talk about, don't worry, I'm not going to go through every single folder that I've got here, but I thought it might be worth having a look at the productivity one and organization to see how I do that. So within this folder, you can see that I have some lists. Now, currently, I am separating these out to different platforms. For example, this video that I'm producing at the moment, that will appear in the video list. And I don't mind showing what's on the list here, but no nicking my ideas. Yeah, think of your own. And now that you actually see this idea of spaces going down to folders, and you can see the lists there. Now, the final aspect of the organization that I want to cover is the areas within a list. Now, these are called statuses, and I'm going to have another video that I talk about how I created this. And as I mentioned before, you can see up at the top area of this page that I've grouped it via statuses, and that's where I get the colors. So let's look at this in an example. So if you look at my quotes list here, you can see that there are 3 statuses that you can see within this list. There's ideas that I just brain dump ideas onto, stuff that's in progress. I have started to work on it, but I haven't finished yet, and then scheduled. And this scheduled is when everything's completed and I've moved it into scheduled, which means that I'm ready to, I put it into Metricool, which is my social media planner tool that I use. And I did a video on that as well, so have a look somewhere. And yeah, so once they're scheduled, I know that they're in Metricool, ready to be shared across social media platforms. Now, there is one other status that you can't see at the moment, and that is one that says completed. And if you look up at the top right again, you can see there that I've hidden this. Okay, so I've got rid of it. I haven't deleted anything. I've just made it so it's not showing, and I can show it quite clearly and you can see it all, but I don't want to see what I've completed. For me, it's what I still need to do that's important. And I have to say at this point, and this is really important, even though they've been completed and I've, hidden that view, they haven't been deleted. They're still there, so you can still search for them to go back to get information from them. Okay, so I hope this provides you with some ideas about how to organize your areas in ClickUp, both your spaces, your folders, and your list. And I would strongly recommend that to gain an understanding of this different hierarchy, then you start to invest some time on creating some ideas on either paper or straight into ClickUp, so you've got an idea. We all work completely differently, and I can guarantee that if you spend a lot of time watching other videos on this, you'll just get more personalized views of the hierarchy. So yeah, just have a go, and remember, you can change it later on. So if you've got this far into the video, you are probably waiting to see how I organize my personal area. Well, this is the area that I call the home space, and it's a space that I currently have 2 folders in, home and films to watch. Now, folder films to watch will probably disappear quite soon and will be replaced with a list rather than a folder, because there's not enough content for it to have its own folder. So it'll probably change into a list. Now, within my home folder, and this is a bit complicated in the sense that I've got my home space and my home folder. So I'm likely to rename the home space to personal space, I think. So within the home folder, you can see that I've got various lists. I have admin, all the tasks that I have to do around the house, around the flat, or buying things, etc., or paying things like taxations or anything like that. Finances, so that has most of the money stuff in rather than being in admin. Cleaning and tidying, now that actually will probably be brought together and with home eventually and just become one thing, one area. Health is all about my medication, when I've got to go for my medication, when I have to reorder it, etc., etc. But also aspects of doctor's visits, but I also put in there, record my running, etc. And then I've got relationships and wishes. And yeah, you can hopefully see that just from me talking there, these are going to be all rearranged the more I use them. So you can probably guess what is covered in each list. But let's look a little bit closer at the relationship list as an example. Now, this is where I keep all my intimate tasks that I need to do to promote and improve my relationships. So looking in here, we can see, sorry, we have run out of time and we can no longer we can't open this list. Oh, never mind. Maybe we can look at it in more detail in another video. So hopefully you can now see how I organize my spaces, my folders, my lists. And so if you are interested in organizing your own, then, or organize it, just using ClickUp in general, then do go away and download the free version and yeah, start organizing. Just remember that on the free version, you can only have a maximum of 5 spaces, but if you pay for the version, then you can have as many spaces as you wish. So if you have any questions about what I've said here or any recommendations, then please let me know in the comments below and I'll try to answer them for you. And in future videos, I'm going to look at more of this sort of thing behind the scenes, the ways I use ClickUp, the ways I have it set up, and how I do that in order to maintain a consistent, efficient, and effective workflow for my content. Hope you found this video helpful, and if you have or any of the videos on my channel, please consider liking, commenting and subscribing. Until next time, stay positive and productive, and I'll see you later. See ya. Bye.